Okay, guys, today in government we'll be talking about party leadership in both the House of Representatives and the Senate. Party leaders are chosen through kind of a unique legislative process or democratic process. The party leaders for both the majority and minority parties, they determine the legislative priorities and strategy of each party. This is really big, kind of overwhelmingly powerful positions because they get to determine the course of action for all kind of 435 members in the House, all 100 members in the Senate. They're elected by a party conference, which means all the Democrats get together and choose who they want to be their leader in the House, and all of the Republicans get together and determine who they want to be their leader in the House of Representatives. So currently, Kevin McCarthy, from a Republican from California, is the leader for Republicans in the House, and the minority leader is Nancy Pelosi, who is our former Speaker of the House when the Democrats had control of the House in 2008. So the overall House leader, though, is elected by the Congress as a whole. So this has nothing to do with kind of party affiliation. But if political parties gain a majority of the seats, then those political parties kind of band together and determine who their leader is. So the Speaker of the House is the highest ranking position in the House of Representatives. The Speaker of the House currently, we just had a switch. So John Boehner, Republican from Ohio, actually lives just up in Westchester, was the Speaker of the House, and he's shifted out, and Rand Paul is now our new Speaker of the House. So what's important about being the Speaker of the House? Well, they preside over the House. They're elected by the House as a whole, but again, party affiliation plays a big role in that, where if all the Republicans get together, they essentially get to choose who the speaker is. They also, their greatest power is determining the House agenda. So when bills, proposed laws come up for debate and topic, the House, the Speaker of the House is the individual who gets to determine what bill gets put on the docket. So when and for how long and who gets to kind of discuss and talk about these bills is determined by the Speaker of the House. This is a really influential, important position in terms of House leadership. You can curry a lot of favors, but at the same time, you can also make a lot of people angry, which is what John Boehner kind of ran into the problem with his political party splitting in terms of what they wanted to accomplish. So sometimes compromising and political parties can lead to a shift in leadership. Now, so Speaker of the House is the highest position. Party leaders, majority and minority, is the next highest. And then we have the whip. For those of you who watch House of Cards, this is where Frank Underwood started at the beginning of season 1. He was a party whip. So we have a majority whip and a minority whip. Their job is to assist the leader. Basically, they're the go-between. They're the liaison with members to ensure party goals are met. So they essentially whip up votes. They're the ones who get together, make sure the party stays together and accomplishes what their overall goals are. Again, elected by a party conference, so Democrats get to choose their member, Republicans get to choose their member. Our current majority whip is Steve Scalise, a Republican from Louisiana, and our minority whip is Steny H. Hoyer, a Democrat from Maryland. This can be a very difficult job because oftentimes with the large number of districts we have in the House of Representatives, there are different goals or agendas for different representatives. The whip's goal is to kind of formulate compromise and get everyone on the same page so that they're all voting on major bills such as Obamacare or the repeal of Obamacare for Republicans or gun control legislation. Big party issues. They make sure that everyone's in line and that the party can accomplish their overall goals at the same time accomplishing the goals for individuals. The Senate leadership is structured in a lot of the same ways. There's a majority leader, a minority leader, a whip for both the majority and the minority as well. the biggest difference is kind of who is running the show in the Senate. The Vice President of the United States is the President of the Senate. So he sits up there, oversees the Senate, runs the organization of the Senate, calls people when it's their turn to speak on the floor. It's his constitutional duty. That's one of the responsibilities of the Vice President. However, he has no voice in the Senate. He can't actually vote on laws or bills. He only votes in the unique instance of a tie. So if we were split 50-50 in terms of number of senators, the Vice President could break that tie. So kind of a unique position. Now, we know that the Vice President isn't always around. He's, jet setting across the world, dealing with foreign policy issues, filling in for the President when the President can't be two places at once. So, who runs the Senate when the Vice President isn't there? That is the President pro temp. Okay, so the President pro tempore of the Senate is the presiding officer of the Senate in the VP's absence. Now, how to get this position is pretty simple, but also pretty difficult. All you have to be is the longest serving member of the majority party in the Senate. So if Republicans are in control, which they are right now, Orrin Hatch, a Republican from Utah, gets to be the President pro temp because he's been serving since 1978. He's been elected consecutively since 1978, which gives him the right to have this position. Now, one of the differences between him and when he's sitting up there and when the Vice President's sitting up there is he can vote when he's acting as the President pro temp. All right, so just serve the longest. Then what happens with leadership after that? Well, we know we have party leaders, the majority and minority leader, same thing as the House. They determine legislative priorities and determine the strategy of the party. They're elected by a party caucus. The majority leader right now is Mitch McConnell, a Republican from Kentucky. Actually, he lives in northern Kentucky. So right now, before Boehner left the House and as Speaker of the House, we had two pretty influential representatives living very close to your area in Cincinnati. Our minority leader is Harry Reid, a Democrat from Nevada. And those are your majority and minority leaders. Again, party whips, same role as in the House, same job, same responsibilities. They assist the leader, they're the liaison to the members to ensure party goals are met. Again, elected by a party conference. Our current majority leader is John Cornyn, a Republican from Texas, and our minority leader is Richard Durbin, a Democrat from Illinois. So that's it for party leadership and the party leadership structures. They oversee kind of the entire process of the House and the Senate, and they kind of try and keep everyone in line. So that's it for the lecture today. We'll move on to the next section tomorrow.